Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the JK Report. I am your host, Mr. K, and I am joined tonight by my always faithful co-host, Mr. Mac. Mr. Mac, say hello.
Yeah, damn right, faithful.
Mr. Mac, how are you doing? We haven't done a video in a week. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I got a break from your ass. That still isn't planted in a chair. You still haven't bought one yet?
I'm still waiting for my chair to be returned to me, Mr. Mac. You returned my glasses. I appreciate that, by the way. I really do. Thank you, Mr. Mac, for returning my personal belongings.
First off, I never returned your glasses because, one, I never took them.
So how come Jimmy gave back to me the other day saying you came into the office and you gave him my glasses?
You're going to believe Jimmy.
Yes, I'm going to believe Jimmy, because Jimmy's always faithful to me.
Jimmy has a nosebleed every 20 minutes.
He's still a good employee, unlike you, Mr. Mac.
He has a nosebleed every 20 minutes. Are you sharing something with him?
Maybe. But I'm not going to say that here. But we have to get going. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight was a big night for wrestling. We had the WWE event known as Night of Champions, where we saw plenty of...
Which you could have seen on the WWE Network for only $9.99.
Unless you're Canadian. Unless you're Canadian.
And you have a Firefox and or Google Chrome extension.
We don't condone that behavior here, Mr. Mac.
Well, what do you mean you don't condone it? What's so bad about it?
We do not condone using illegal maneuvers to acquire access to them.
You're still paying for it. How is it illegal?
Because you're not paying the $12.99 that you Canadians are obligated to pay.
Yeah, because I'm not a Rogers customer because I'm a smart consumer.
I doubt that, Mr. Mac. But we have to get going. I have no clue what was on the pre-show. Mr. Mac, did you watch the pre-show?
I did not watch the pre-show.
So we're not going to go over the pre-show. Fuck the pre-show.
All I know is that there was a peep show with Christian and Chris Jericho. If there was a match, I don't know. Maybe there was an Adam Rose thing. Again, I have no idea.
Well, if there was a pre-show and you watched it, leave a comment in the description. Yes, not in the description, in the comment section.
Oh, you're still on that trip there? You're still on trip of leaving shit in the description box? Okay, alright. Do you want to just give everyone the password? And just let them put whatever they want in the description box?
Yes, Mr. Mac. The password is I am awesome. That's the password. If you want to put, if you want to put a comment, if you want to put a comment in the description, go to youtube.com/login and put in jkreport@hotmail.com, and the password is I am awesome.
Kind of a false sense of security, if you ask me.
Mr. Mac, it's not a false sense of security because I am awesome.
Awesome people have things to sit on.
Awesome people have their stuff stolen by people who are jealous of them and envious of all they have succeeded in life.
What in the hell could I be possibly jealous of you of?
So you admit you stole it. You admit that you were envious and you stole my personal property, Mr. Mac.
No, I'm not admitting shit. I'm asking you, what do I have to be jealous of you?
Just look at me, Jamie. Just look at me, Mr. Mac. I'm awesome. I'm radiating awesomeness.
Yeah, of course, because my #1 dream in life is to stand in a room with poor-ass lighting, wearing sunglasses, and wearing a suit that looks like I'm about to go on a 5-centimeter run.
Oh, you're so fancy with your centimeters because you're Canadian. I get it, Jamie, Mr. Mac.
5 centimeter, 5 inches.
But we're going to get into the show. Night of Champions opened up with Stardust and Goldust defeating the Usos for the WWE Tag Team Championships in probably a really good match, which the Usos have tend to keep giving us in the championship defenses. You have anything you want to say about this match, Mr. Mac?
It was a good match. It was a solid opener. I predicted, I posted on Twitter there that I thought that the Usos were going to retain. For some reason, I thought that the Usos were going to end up losing the titles on a random Raw or something, in the same way that they won them on a random Raw. But turns out that wasn't the case to be, and Goldust and Stardust ended up winning it. And honestly, I believe I should have been able to see this coming, because, like, you know, they just turned heel. But a part of me just thought that, like, no, Usos are going to retain, but that wasn't the case. But both teams gave it their all, and I'm looking forward to a rematch down the line.
Yeah, this match was pretty good. Again, the Usos have always constantly delivered in their title defenses, whether it's against the Wyatts, against Ryback and Curtis Axel, or against Goldust Stardust. They put on good matches. The only complaint I had to come out of this match was Jerry Lawler needs to stop trying to make the whole what is the Cosmic Key thing a thing. Nobody cares, Mr. Lawler.
He was doing that?
Yeah, because when the match ended, he made a big deal like, "Oh, is the identity."
Because I paid attention to the commentary like maybe this much during the whole show.
Well, he made a comment towards the end of the match when they won the championships. He's like, "Oh, the mystery of the Cosmic Key has been revealed. Oh my God." Nobody cares, Mr. Lawler. Stop trying to turn this into a cartoon Cosmic Key bullshit. Nobody cares.
The Cosmic Key is a champion title that looks like a penny.
And it's not. And if the championships are the Cosmic Key, he got the wrong C vocabulary because it's really the Copper Key. But Mr. Mack, what would you give this match on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'll probably give it a 7. I thought that all four guys, did a really, really good job, and they went up there and they got the job done.
Just for the sake of disagreeing with you, Mr. Mack, I'm going to give it a 6.99. Just for the sake of disagreeing with you. The next match of the night, we saw Sheamus defend his U.S. Championship against Cesaro, which he ended up retaining, and probably one of the best matches of the night, in my personal opinion. Mr. Mack, you have anything you would like to say about this match?
I love it when both of these guys go in there one-on-one. Because these guys always deliver a very physical encounter and a very good brawl as well. Because, Cesaro was doing things like, lifting Sheamus up at like the most random times. Like there was at one point where he dodged a brogue kick and he ended up lifting Sheamus out of it. Just a bunch of different crazy shit. I'm just saying now Sheamus needs to start trimming that bush of whatever the hell he has on his face is called. I love Sheamus, but God, that shit's getting out of control. I did like it at the end there where Sheamus was like, "Come on, fella. What else you got?"
This is probably
that's not exactly what he said, but it was along those lines.
I think this is probably one of the better matches of the night. If you had to scale if you rank each match, I'd probably put this towards the top 3. If not the first one, but I'd put it at least in the top 3 or 2. But my only complaint about this match was that it was for the U.S. Championship. My only complaint about this match.
Well, it's called Night of Champions, Kay.
I understand that, but the fact that these two superstars are putting on that kind of match for the U.S. Championship, they should be putting that should be more of a World Championship match than a U.S. Championship match. Because U.S. Championship doesn't mean jack shit. Huh?
I think you're going a little bit too far with the world title match. It was a good match, but I don't think it was.
Well, it should be a more relevant championship match. Agreed.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers.
I agree. So, what would you give this match out of 10, Mr. Mack?
Probably the same as the tag match, a 7.
I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. And I think it was one of the better matches of the night. Now, the next match where we saw the first championship change hands with The Miz defeating Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship with Florida Georgia Line doing commentary, which made me want to blow my brains out.
Well, why is that?
Because their commentary was horrendous, Mr. Mack. That's why. And because
the commentators... You pay attention to the commentary these days.
The commentators were more preoccupied with what Florida Georgia Line and Damian Sandow were doing than the fucking match itself.
Well, I was more in tune to the match than what the commentators were saying. I can't remember, Like, I can remember one thing that JBL said during the entire however long the show went over, like 2.5 hours. I can remember one line that JBL said. That's it. I don't remember anything else.
Well, maybe because you don't you watch it on your TV, on your television set, Mr. Mac?
I did tonight, as a matter of fact.
Maybe that's why the difference. Because I watched it on my computer, so I had my headset on, so I had no choice but to listen to the commentary at full volume, which made me want to.
Well, I also had people around too. That helped.
Yet no one wants to hear about your prostitutes, Mr. Mac.
Now, what makes you say that they're that?
Because I know you, Mr. Mac. But however, in this match, we saw Mr.
You're the one with the coke addiction and in the ridiculous ass tracksuit and calling yourself all high and mighty, and you're saying I have prostitutes?
Yes, Mr. Mac. I don't have to pay.
I think you need to reevaluate that statement.
I don't think I need to reevaluate anything, Mr. Mac.
Well,
I'm not the one who hangs around a chick named Fries. That's a prostitute name if I've ever heard of one.
Okay, I'm going to tell you one thing. At least I have friends.
Mr. Mac, I'll take no friends over paid associates any day.
You have Jimmy. That's not
Jimmy is an intern. I don't pay Jimmy.
That's your employee who could care less.
He is my intern, Mr. Mac.
He's a
However,
bitch.
we're getting off subject. Back to the match. This match saw The Miz capture the Intercontinental Championship for a 4th time, and yet again he is setting pace to set a record for the least amount of days as champion with the most amount of reigns. Because he's had 3 previous championship reigns, and they all equate to about an average about 4 months as champion.
One of my biggest pet peeves in wrestling is when you hot potato a title. And for those of you that don't know what I mean by that, when I say hot potato a title, I mean it changes hands every single pay-per-view. Basically, it changes hands once a month. And it devalues what the championship is supposed to mean. A good example of this, Randy Orton and John Cena back in 2009. Cena was champion at Breaking Point. He went back to Orton. He went back to Cena. All in a span of like a month, maybe a month and a half. If you're gonna have a lot of title changes happen, you need to spread them out. You can't clump them all up into 1 or 2 months.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When did Dolph Ziggler win the championship? Was it SummerSlam?
At SummerSlam, yeah.
Okay. And that was his what, 3rd Intercontinental Championship reign, or is that his 2nd?
His 2nd.
Okay. But as far as the hot potatoing goes, I'm not a fan of it. Hopefully, and I'm not a fan of traditional championships either. And Miz has had nothing but transitional IC championship reigns. The only reason he won at WrestleMania was so they can keep him undefeated at WrestleMania. The only reason he won it from Christian because he got injured. Wait, did he win from Christian at SummerSlam? Yeah, he did, didn't he? SummerSlam 2012?
He won it from Christian at Raw 1000.
Oh, Raw 1000. Okay, the only reason he won that is didn't Christian get injured?
Somewhere in the match, I think, yeah.
So, like, he's had nothing but championship reigns, or transitional reigns, as Intercontinental Champion. At least when he was U.S. Champion, he had legit runs. At least his WWE Championship reign was a legit run. You have 4 reigns. He's 3. I'm not going to count the one he has now because it just started. You have 3 reigns, and they all average out to be about 4 months in length. If you add them all together, that's a problem. I say the same thing about Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's a 3-time WWE champion, and his longest reign's what, 40 days?
Somewhere around there, yeah. He had to. I think he finally gave up the titles around mid-June. I think when he won it at Mania, he gave it up around mid-June.
So you think he wins it in April, May, June, 3 months, and you're taking into account his other 2 previous reigns that lasted about an hour and less than 24 hours. This reign, his hour reign was barely even 10 minutes. So you equate all 3 of his reigns, you get roughly 45 days in an hour. Maybe. And the same thing's going with the Miz.
Well, more than that, more like 60.
Okay, we'll go 60 days out of 3 reigns. And again, yes, I'm excluding Daniel Bryan's World Heavyweight Championship reign, because that one was actually a legit reign. But that's why transitional reigns aren't... If you want more like depth of a transitional reign, look at John Cena. He's a 15-time champion. At least 7 of his reigns were transitional.
2011.
2011, he won it like, what, 3 times?
Won it from Del Rio and lost it 2 weeks later.
And then you go back to 2009. He won it like 3 times. He won it from Orton, lost to Orton, and won it back from Orton. So you think there's 4 reigns right there. Then you think he won it the Money in the Bank and dropped it a month later. There's 5 reigns. So I'm pretty sure I can find 2 more out of his 15 to make it 7. Pretty sure I'm not exaggerating when I say 7 out of 15 were nothing but bullshit transitional reigns. Transitional reigns do nothing but add to the amount of championship reigns, and it's bullshit because then it makes people who have held it that many times legitimately seem worthless. Chris Jericho is a 9-time Intercontinental champion. I guarantee you all of his reigns, majority of his reigns at least, were legit. Maybe not his last 2. Maybe not.
He held it from March until June.
Yeah, I guess.
His
Yeah, I guess so.
His 8th reign, then his 9th reign, he held it from Extreme Rules to the Bash, I think.
Yeah, so I guess those are decent reigns. But like, if you want to say like legit reigns, I'll exclude those 2. So he has 2 out of 9. Majority of his reigns were legit. But then you have something like Miz, who's a 4-time champion now, and how many legit reigns has he had? Barely even 1. But we're off topic. We're gonna move on. Jamie, what would you give this match out of 10?
Probably a 6.5. I mean, like I enjoyed it for the most part, but like I don't think it was. I mean, like I think these guys can pull off something really good, but as for right now, I'm like, it was alright.
I think it was an alright match, but I think they tried to center it too much around the whole stunt double crap. While the stunt double stuff is funny, I'll admit it is. Go ahead.
Here's 2 reasons why I like the stunt double thing going on. 1, it's funny. 2, it creates more possible tag teams, which the division is in desperate need of right now. Sure, they're thrown together, but some of the best teams ever have been thrown together.
Exactly. But my only issue is... not to interrupt you, but the only issue I have with the stunt double stuff is they centered this match too much around it, and not enough about it's not as much as it was Miz and Ziggler as it was Miz and Sandow and Truth and Ziggler. You know, I think it was too much centered around the stunt doubles and not enough around the actual match happening. You know what I mean? You had a whole segment where Sandow and Truth were outside doing something.
Yeah.
So, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It wasn't a terrible match. I felt like it was the stunt double stuff. While I am a fan of it, was too distracting. But we're gonna move on to the next match tonight, which was I don't have the match card in front of me, so I'm just gonna guess what happened next. I believe the next match of the night was Rusev defeating Mark Henry. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, before you talk about this match, Mr. Mack, I have something I need to get off my chest. You have a feud with Rusev and Mark Henry, no matter how corny or weird or boring it was, with the whole America versus Russia thing. It closes Monday Night Raw. You close Raw with this feud, and you give us a jobber match. You close Monday Night Raw, and you give us a jobber match that lasted, what, 5 minutes? That's a definition of wasting our time. But go ahead, Mr. Mack.
Well, I'm going to just say this first off right now. I didn't feel emotionally invested in this match. It's not because I didn't like what was going on going into it, but it's because of the fact that, to put it blunt, I'm Canadian. So, what care do I have? I mean, honestly, I'm like, I hate to, I hate to be a downer and say, like, oh, I don't care, but honestly, I really don't, because, I don't have a spot in this.
Well, I have two reasons why you shouldn't care about this feud. A, the Cold War is over. B, you had the same exact feud a month ago. Same exact feud.
Right now, my dream right now, and I think that this is a dream for a lot of people, I don't care how you get him or what you have to do. I'm saying now, quite possibly the only way that you could get me, intrigued by what Rusev and Lana are doing. And, not just me alone. I mean, there might be some other folks out there that think the same way. You get Angle in there. You somehow bring back Angle. Get him in there to face Rusev. And my attention will be glued to what's going on TV.
I agree. I would love to see that. But I think in terms of what they can do right now, because we don't know what Angle is doing, because to my knowledge he's still under contract with TNA, to my knowledge at least, what they should do at least for now is put the U.S. Championship on Rusev. How they haven't done, they want to sell the whole. If they really want to sell this this America versus Russia thing, how about you put the U.S. belt, the United States Championship, that's literally wearing the flag on Rusev, on the Russian. And if you want to take a step further, Lana and him can change it from the U.S. Championship to the Russian Championship, just to add more gimmick to it. Why not? You want to do something, there's what you could do. Why not? It's a championship. No one's invested in Rusev. No one's invested in the U.S. Championship. Why not do it? What do you have to lose? A precious championship that no one could care about if it disappeared tomorrow? Yeah, it sounds corny and gimmicky and cartoonish, but if you want to really sell this whole anti-America thing, you put the actual United States Championship that carries the flag and carries the name of the United States on the Russian who's anti-American, and then he could change the belt to the Russian Championship. Why not? Why not try it? What do you got to lose?
Not much.
Or if Mr. Mack wants his way, he changes to the Canadian Championship and put a big old leaf on it.
Well, Lance Storm did that once.
See, if you did it once for Canadians, why can't you do it for the Russian? Just saying. They've changed the design of that belt so many times, it's not funny. Why not just do it? But we're going to move on to the next match tonight, which was Chris Jericho versus Randy Orton, which saw Randy Orton defeat Chris Jericho in a out-of-nowhere RKO again. But overall, I think it was a decent match. But getting ahead of myself, Jamie, we need to go back to the Rusev and Henry match. What did you give out of 10?
I'm going to follow Bret Hart and say 4.
I'm going to pull a I don't give a shit and say I'm going to give this match, just for wasting my time, twice on Raw and now, I'm giving it a 0 out of 10. That match was nothing but a big load of waste of my time. That's all I'm saying.
I hate to be typical IWC guy over here, but honestly, I didn't feel invested. I didn't care. But yeah.
I didn't care. I wasn't invested, but the fact that they closed the Go Home Raw. They closed it, the Go Home show, to the pay-per-view with this feud, and they give us a 4-minute jobber match. I'm sorry, even if I don't care about the match, I'm not okay with that. I don't think anyone should be okay with that, even if they're not invested in it. It was the Go Home show. I'm giving it a 0 out of 10. But we're going to move on to Randy Orton defeating Chris Jericho. I don't have much to say about this match. It was a good match. Uh, expect a JBL and Orton feud or Jericho and JBL feud in the near future because they did spill his diet soda. It's a fact. I don't know if he's going to feud with Jericho or feud with Orton, but they both kind of spilled his diet soda. And it was diet soda this time. Just saying. So, Mr. Matt, what do you have to say about this match?
I would say this is probably Jericho's best match. I'm assuming his current run is finished. But then again, I still haven't seen the cage match between him and Wyatt. So I'll have to watch that and compare the two and form an opinion on which I think is better. But as for now, that's probably the best match of this current run. And I think he recently said on his podcast that he'll be back sooner than we think. So whatever that means. But
you can never believe Chris Jericho when he says when he'll be back. Because he always says he either says I won't be back for a while and he shows up next month, or he'll be back soon and he's gone for a whole year. So you can never believe what he says.
That's why Jericho is the king of trolls.
Because he always swerves you and you always fall for it.
Mm-hmm. And it's really
always.
Good. Yep.
If you say, "Oh, I knew he was coming back this time," no, because he was selling the whole "I'm gone for a while."
All I'm saying is now, the next time Jericho comes back, I hope that he wins the IC title because he's one off of becoming a 10-time champion. Yeah, and I think he deserves it.
Honestly, when Jericho comes back, I hope he comes back as a heel. I love face Jericho, but heel Jericho is so much better.
As much as I miss the Honest Man, suit wearing Jericho, I want to see it come back, but at the same time I don't, because they would be going back to the past. But I mean, it wouldn't. But it wouldn't hurt to get a taste, a small taste of those promos back.
Either way, I think he needs to come back as a heel because I think he's done all he can do as a face. There's not much more he can do besides put on good matches. And given his last stint with Bray Wyatt, even that's getting flimsy as a face. No offense to Bray Wyatt or Jericho, I'm not a fan of their matches. Any of their matches.
Well, I have yet to see their cage match, but their match at Battleground was decent. SummerSlam match I thought was
underwhelming.
Yeah. And the cage match, I still haven't seen it, like I said.
I'll admit his match with Orton was good, but this match was based around an attack from Orton and a feud from 3 years ago. So
and Orton's reasoning, it's the season premiere.
Yeah, so either the reasoning of this feud was it's a season premiere, or their feud that never really happened. Think about this. They never really got their feud going, because that's when Jericho got suspended, and then when they tried to do it again, Jericho left. So, well, let me rephrase. He got suspended.
Yeah.
Then he left. So, they never got their feud off the ground. They finally do, and it's based around what happened 3 years ago. That's awesome. But I'll probably give this match a 6.5 out of 10. It was okay. But it wasn't anything special.
I'd give it a 7.5.
On to the next match tonight was the Divas Championship, where AJ Lee defeated and won the Divas Championship from Paige and Nikki Bella.
Again, this goes back to hot potato in the title. I don't understand. AJ wins it from Paige in June. They have their match at Battleground. That's fine and dandy. AJ retains. Paige turns heel the next night. They have their match at SummerSlam. Paige wins, and then AJ gets the title back. Again tonight.
The only way I'm okay with this...
AJ is now a 3-time Divas champion.
And Paige is a 2-time champion, and she debuted, 6 months ago?
April.
Yeah, she debuted 5 months ago. And she's already a 2-time Divas champion.
And not to mention, Nikki was just kind of thrown in this match. And... I mean, I'm not going to lie, I thought that she did a really good job, but, she was thrown in the match. I mean, yeah, sure, they could go, or the reason it could be, it was 2 predictable and whatnot, but still, I mean, like that at least would have made sense.
You know, the only thing I would have been okay with Paige losing it is if they would have swerved and had Nikki win it. I'm not a Nikki Bella fan, but it probably would have been neat to see, because then you could kind of give her a point to be in this feud, give Paige and AJ a point to keep doing what they're doing, while hot potatoing the championship, and you could bring Brie into it. I mean, that's the most they've had. That's the most people they've involved in the Divas Championship in forever.
I'm saying no. They should have. You know what? They should have went. They should have went with the idea that I posted last month. Brie versus Nikki, ladder match, envelope hanging above the ring that contains the password to their Twitter account. I'm saying right now that would have been worth my $9.99. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what they still could do? It'd be interesting and kind of stupid, but it's still interesting. It's Survivor Series. You can do a Team Nikki versus Team Brie.
Oh, because the Divas match last year, because the Survivor Series team match last year went so well.
Well, you think about this, though. You can kind of make it work. You can kind of make it work this time. You can have Team Nikki be like Nikki Bella, Cameron, Paige, and... God, what's her name? Rosa.
I don't know. The fact that Cameron is in a match just makes me cringe. Yep.
But let me do the fantasy booking fast. You can do on Team Nikki, you can have Nikki Bella, Cameron, Rosa Mendez. If you want to throw Paige in, throw Paige in. That's forward. Then on Team Brie, you have Brie, Natalya, Naomi, AJ. It all makes sense. And you could even cross-promote Total Divas. You have the whole thing with Cameron and Naomi, and no one gives a shit about, but it's happening. You have Nikki and Brie. You have Paige and AJ, and you have Natty and Rosa. You have some kind of blow-up in Total Divas, which is probably going to happen eventually. Who knows? So at least it all makes sense. It'd be horrendous, but it'll make sense.
That's what we love doing here on the JK Report. We like to make sense.
Exactly. So, Mr. Mack, what did you give this match out of 10?
Probably a 6. I mean, like, it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but I thought that it was a decent Divas match.
I'm going to say this, because I went in expecting dog shit, horse shit for this match, and it pleasantly surprised me. I'm going to give it...
Yeah. It turned out to surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, I was a bit overwhelmed with what I got, and I was surprised. Not overwhelmed like, oh my god, this is an amazing match, but I went in with so low expectations, it kind of blew me away a little bit. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Just because it blew me away. It surprised me. It wasn't a 6.5 star match, but because it surprised me, I'm going to give it an extra 2 stars. So we're going to move on to the main event of tonight. Well, no, we skipped over a segment which saw Seth Rollins defeat Roman Reigns via countout.
Yep. And of course, for those of you that don't know, Roman Reigns went into emergency surgery this past Saturday due to an incarcerated hernia. I heard that he was going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Then I heard 4 to 12 weeks. And tonight they said he's going to be out for several months. Now, who knows what that means? If he's back in time for the Rumble, who knows? I assume he'll be back by Mania, but by the Rumble, your guess is probably as good as mine. I'm
going to pray to the wrestling gods he's back by the Rumble, because I hate to say an injury is ever perfect timing, but if he can make it back by the Rumble, this injury came at the perfect time. If he can get back by the Rumble. Because now WWE can still keep his organic push going, and there's no chance of them fucking it up. Because now he's not there to fuck it up. And now he could ride the high momentum of the return of the Rumble, my personal booking of eliminate every last bitch in the Rumble, and go on to Mania and beat Lesnar. That's my fantasy booking. But the big story out of tonight is Dean Ambrose returned from being curb stomped on a pile of styrofoam concrete blocks.
Oh my fucking god, just get on with it.
In filming a movie, which then saw Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins brawl, which reignited their feud, which I'm excited to see because they put on decent matches and horrendous situations.
Dean Ambrose arrived in a taxi cab and did not pay his driver.
Yes,
That
Mr.
is
Mack.
the one.
That is
That is the one thing that I remember JBL saying that he did not pay the driver. It's true, he did not. But
well,
other
he
than that,
paid Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins, they brawled a little bit. I'm excited for this because I'm never a fan of a prolonged feud that happens like they have a match every month. But in this situation, I'm okay with it because these guys keep putting on great matches and horrendous stipulations. I mean, when's the last time you saw a good?
I'll say this now: Ambrose's return was very highly anticipated.
Indeed. But back to my thing about the whole how they can put on good matches in horrendous situations. When's the last time you saw a good lumberjack match, or even a decent lumberjack match?
I'll say this now: Ambrose and Rollins have proven that they can take any gimmick match that they're given and they can make it, and they can make it tenfold.
When's the last 5-star Falls Count Anywhere matches we've seen?
I'm just saying now, if they want to do 2 cell matches, if they plan on doing 2 cell matches this year, there's one right there. Rollins and Ambrose do it.
Which sets us up for our next topic, which is the main event, which was Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, which saw John Cena defeat Brock Lesnar via disqualification. Before we get on to the surprise person who came out to disqualify John Cena, what was your thoughts on this match?
I think it was on Lesnar, but as for the match itself, I thought that it was good. I like that. I like how they made it a big deal whenever Cena got Lesnar off his feet, because there was maybe a grand total of maybe 2 times when Cena did that to Lesnar, and that was when he hit his finishing maneuvers on AA and STF. But as for the match itself, I thought that it was decent. Lesnar nailed a lot of different types of suplexes, which was nice to see. But other than that, I just thought that it was decent.
I have one tiny complaint about this match and a bunch of praise about this match. My one tiny complaint is if you look at it towards the beginning of the match, John Cena literally runs into the Kimura lock. He literally runs right into it. He literally runs into it. I don't know if that's on purpose or just bad maneuvering. That's how it came across. That spot was horrendous because it literally saw him just run into it. That's my one complaint. But for my praises, this match, I loved everything about this match. One, it made John Cena not look like a jobber. 2, it made Lesnar look beatable. Which, if you're going to keep the belt on him for the length of time as I hope they do, he needs to look like someone can beat him. Like, you need to believe every time he goes to defend it, he might lose. You know?
I'm saying now, when Cena had him in the STF and he kept dragging him back, I was praying to God that Lesnar was not going to tap out. Because I'm saying now, if he would have, not only would that have killed all his momentum, but it would have killed any chance of him getting it back.
Exactly. Cena should not have won this match, which he did, but not. I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, this match.
He did, but they kind of did the aha moment with it.
But one thing I'll say this match, it served every purpose it needed to. It set up for John Cena, Brock Lesnar 3 at Hell in a Cell. Cena technically wins. Lesnar's still champion. It set up Lesnar looks human, so you can sell that he might lose. It also reminded you Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank because he attempted to cash in. And people might complain oh, I don't like swervy finishes. This one was warranted. There's a lot of times when swervy finishes happen and they don't need to happen. All last summer. From SummerSlam to TLC, all last summer, none of those swervy finishes needed to happen. But in this situation, I think it was warranted because it set up for everything. It gave them a reason to give Cena and Lesnar a match at Hell in a Cell, and the only other way they could have done that is Cena winning the championship. And that couldn't have happened. They had to find a way to have Cena technically beat Lesnar without winning the championship, which they did that via Seth Rollins trying to cash in. And then with Seth Rollins doing the curb stomp on Lesnar and looking vulnerable, Lesnar looks beatable. So everything about this was booked to perfection. Everything. To Seth Rollins, to the referee, to the table, to the Diet Mountain Dew. My personal opinion, said it perfectly. I'm going to give this match an 8 out of 10. And that's big coming from me because I absolutely hated the SummerSlam match. Everything about the SummerSlam match. Hated everything. And I'm going to give it this kind of praise. So, I'm giving this an 8 out of 10 because everything was perfect. Everything. Mr. Mack, what do you give this match?
I'll probably give it a 7.
Now, that does it for our review of Night of Champions. We thank you for sticking by. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Follow us on Twitter at the JK Report. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/the JK Report. Follow me on Twitter at ReadyK13. Follow
Who
Mr.
uses
Mack.
Facebook anymore?
Maybe we have fans on Facebook, Mr. Mack.
Who uses Facebook anymore?
Anyway, back to
when
the
has that been relevant?
Follow me at ReadyK13. Follow Mr. Mack at Jamie Lee Mack. Hit the thumbs up button. Go watch our previous videos, our Raw reviews, our breakdowns, our Fave 5s. Hopefully we'll be releasing a Fave 5 this week. We'll be doing the Monday Night Raw review tomorrow night. So there's that coming. Hit the subscribe button. Watch other videos. I'm Mr. K. He's Mr. Mack. Mr. Mack, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.